think we're back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, cool. So yeah, sorry I was quiet there. I was just getting the teams their draft links and stuff. So, hey, how's it going? My name is Halorn. I will be co-casting with my good friend here, Bleedies. Bleedies, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Bleedies or Twitch at Bleedies as well. Yeah, we just got done doing a show right now, which I'm sure some of you guys already hear. It feels like we're repeating that, but for people just tuning in, but we're about to do Sycom eSports versus Snipe Squad, two really good teams that I'm really excited about casting.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of casting both of these teams a number of times now. Um, I know members of Snipe Squad particularly really well. Shout out to Handlebars, King of Skills, Penis. I always crack up
Oh my
saying his
gosh.
name like without fail. Uh, Penis, Castle Bravo, the gang. Um, Always a pleasure to see these guys in action. Pro Division, the highest tier of Chair League, best of 3 series. So you're definitely going to be in for a really exciting set. Um, Production value, my browser thing definitely stopped working again for no apparent reason. GG.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time, man. You're using that classic OBS, right?
Classic.
Yep, it's what it does, man. We'll have to get you over to that. Damn, I even forgot what it's called. OBS Studio. You can do some really fun things there and not have to worry about that.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, so now this thing really doesn't want to work. What the heck? Alright. I'm going to have to do a monitor deal here.
All right, here, yeah, and the draft is actually just starting right now
Rip.
with Sycom Esports actually getting the
Alright.
first ban here. It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen, so obviously this map is all about rotations, all about wave clear, and effectively picking up those gems and turning them in to get those. The objective is not the strongest thing in the game, especially like when you get later into it. But you definitely see heroes like Azul and Sylvanas, which can help make them stronger as really strong picks on this map.
Yeah, I'm sending a tweet out to get people excited and interested in seeing these awesome teams in action.
Yeah, and as we were saying that, man, we were talking about those two heroes. Zul's actually going to be the first one banned out here. So, Sycom Esports deciding that's not a hero they want to deal with. He has the best wave clear in the game as well as the best sustain with that. And Snipe Squad going to ban out Kel'Thas, which I guess you can argue that's always going to be a smart ban right here.
Handlebars, what's up, man? Oh my gosh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, Zul and Kael'thas, two very solid bands in general. Zul was affected by today's patch. The root is now 0.25 seconds shorter, which is what we were talking about earlier. But still a very powerful hero. Wave clear is insane on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. Always a good show. First pick is going to be Thrall. Probably going to
Yeah,
see him in a solo lane in the bottom. Not surprised there.
no surprise there. Thrall's always he wasn't changed at all really in this patch. He's super strong. His Sundering is one of the best engages and disengages in the game, and he can beat anybody in lane. And I usually give the caveat if you're good at him, but this is Pro Division. They're all really good players, so no doubt he's going to be able to win whoever gets put to get him in lane. And actually, Chromie going to be picked up first, guys. So we're going to be able to see her in action right away.
Yeah, one thing that has been designated by Chair League, new heroes are available straight out of the gate. Something of a controversial topic, but that's the way it is right now. So we're on the cutting edge here. Chromie and Zagara. I expect to see Thrall and Zagara square off in the bottom lane, and Chromie to hang out in bushes and try to shred people.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. That's exactly what to bring to your point here as we're waiting for the next picks coming out of Sycom. I think this Chromie pick is like I want to say this is like saying, hey guys, for watching, we're going to give you a treat. We're going to see in a pro level play how Chromie is being played because for Tomb with the Spider Queen, a hero with almost not the most effective wave clear. She can use her Dragon's Breath, obviously, but yeah, gonna be interesting to see how they use her in lane.
One thing that I would point out here, the name of this team is Snipe Squad. And what better way to snipe someone than with a hero like Chromie? Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there, and yeah,
Food.
Sylvanas being picked up by Sycom there, so that's another really strong pick on this map.
Yeah, Sycom eSports has come out of the gate swinging for the fence. Sylvanas wave clear is insane. Definitely a strong component to any 4-man rotation on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. Tyrande opens the door for a double support. We're going right into the second ban phase. Snipe Squad already taking ETC off the table. Who do you think Sycom's going to ban out?
Well, we see here that they haven't picked up a front line or a support here. I would generally like to see if they're going to ban out that, like maybe a Murden ban coming out of here because they don't want to see that. Or perhaps, if they know that Snipe Squad, if they snipe them out, no pun intended there, and they know that they prefer Johanna here for Knight Takes Pawn. But no, they're actually going to go for Uther. It eliminates a little bit of other comps, maybe powering up a Sonya or something like that. So they don't want to see any D shields in this game, so they're going to take them out.
Now, I'm actually a little surprised to see Uther getting taken off the table for the second ban wave. This pretty much invites Snipe Squad to take Rhaegar. And that's a hero that Snipe Squad uses to great effect. And then you're kind of taking the other really top support off the table yourself. So Sycom might have potentially shot themselves in the foot here. Snipe Squad picks up Rhaegar.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but we do have the best double support component in there. Tassadar still on the table. Ooh. We'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what happens. And Tassadar, I always say this as I'm casting the different divisions in Chair League. The higher you go, Tassadar becomes a more preferred pick. And I always say in these best of threes, it's like, oh, you leave Tassadar on the back end, and then in the next game he's picked a little bit earlier, and then in the third game it's like first pick Tassadar. So he's such an impactful hero, and it wouldn't surprise me with his great wave clear ability as well if one of these teams doesn't pick him up. And if I was Snipe Squad, yeah, I would pick up either him or Rhaegar right here just to make sure that force Sycom into the pick that you want them to pick, and then pick your comp around that.
Sup, Kuma, by the way. Shout out. And Snipe Squad's going way into their time pool to try to think about this. And they do go for Tassadar. One of the questions I was going to pose to you, Bleedies, is will Snipe Squad have enough damage if they take Tassadar with Chromie?
I don't know, man. Chromie does quite a bit of damage. It's just you have to, like you said, you have to land those skill shots, which necessarily aren't the easiest, especially when you're going against players that know how to position well. But we'll have to see exactly. A lot of times you like to see Tassadar with that Tyrande because then she can back you up with those damages, especially on those front lines or some of those melee assassins. But without that, who are they going to pick up? And they pick up Nazeebo.
What?
So
what?
Like I don't know what's going on here, but I'm about to go full witch doctor up in this stream.
They're out of the time pool.
I'm not sure exactly what's happening. I'm gonna go to lobby really quick, see if anybody's typing.
Handlebar says rip. That's supposed to be Arth. Wait, well they're delayed, so I don't know.
What was it supposed to be?
I don't know. Move my mic to the right. Done.
Okay.
Tassadar and Nazeebo. Did they say anything in lobby about the Nazeebo pick?
That was supposed to be Murden.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. So we'll see what happens. Usually, teams in Chair League are usually really good sports. I'm sure they'll allow that to happen, but I don't know because that's weird because Sycom right now, they don't have a front line. So they could have wanted to pick up Murden. So if they're not checking up lobby chat right now, they might do it.
That was a mistake. Yeah. I'm fine with that being Murden. These teams are sportsmanlike enough. I don't see a problem with it personally.
Yeah, so we're seeing that good sportsmanship going out. Yeah. Johanna being picked up by Sycom, not picking up that Murden. And the Asmodan, the Dunk Master himself, one of his few viable maps, they are going to pick him up on Tomb of the Spider Queen, partnering up with Johanna and the rest of the crew to make sure he does get those stacks up.
Yeah, Corpse Explosion for Sylvanas could make that all the more of an easy prospect. I'm concerned for Sylvanas in Tyrande's safety. Tyrande's not really the most adorable of solo supports and isn't the best at healing in a solo support setup. You do have a meaty front line in Johanna, and you do have Asmodan with a big health pool. But, again, I think it's going to come down to the Chromie pick, and they're going to round out their composition with Lily.
I think this is a real pick, guys. I'm pretty sure this is going to be PogChamp. With the cleanse coming out, they're saying, you know what, our time has come. Let's go on an adventure, and don't question what's in Uncle's brew. You just drink it, okay? You just drink it. But yeah, man,
I love the Lily pick. I've been campaigning this for a while that Lily makes a very strong secondary support. I think that Lily and Rhaegar would have been a little more potent here, but I don't see anything wrong with a secondary support.
They're saying that that we're gonna do this over because apparently the last two picks were supposed to be Mira Rhaegar. and it turned out to be Nazebo Lili.
Oh wow,
Oh
rip.
my goodness. This is the danger of third-party websites. Click here, you're a winner, right? No, but no,
Okay,
but all
so
seriousness, but yeah.
all right, so we're gonna do a redraft. And that's fair. We're actually gonna have to use Heroes Fire then, because I don't think you can just do that through the Chair League site.
Yeah.
Follow. Thanks for the follow. Oh, rip. Actually, the Twitch alert thing needs to get moved to the top because I didn't see the name. Move to the top. There we go.
All right. Well, we're good. They're gonna do the redraft. It looks like.
Yeah. So let's see, heroesdraft.com.
Things getting a little testy here. Come on, guys. It's all fun and games. We're gonna be able to get this draft done and get this game to you. So I know all of you Lily fans, all two of you in chat right there, got a little bit excited.
Yeah.
But
my heart's a little broken.
So we're not gonna see
Lily.
that.
So let's see. Manually select. Tune the Spider Queen. Starting team 1. Starting draft session. Server link.
So how are all you guys doing tonight? You ready to enjoy some Chair League action? As I'm making the small talk here as we're having a redraft, and there's my observer link that I need a copy. Thank you, Mr. Haloran.
I have my moments. Let's see. Sycom eSports link. Going over to Rebel.
Ooh, we're going with Heroes Draft now. This is like old school for Chair League, at least.
Yeah, I mean it's just easy.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know how to do it through the site itself. So, GG.
GG, and yeah, we're gonna have once again a redraft going on. We'll have to see if Chromie's gonna be first picked again, and this is kind of the dangers of a redraft when this does happen, which it occurs time to time. We're gonna see if they're gonna just ban out Chromie, or if they're gonna say, you know what, we didn't see the Chromie coming, we'll let you pick it up. So it just depends on how the teams just see each other.
Cool, my Lily fans do exist. Secondary support Lily fans exist anyway. Super Jova, there were some UI issues that were leading to mistaken draft picks. So both teams have elected to do a redraft. So there you have it. Handlebar, sorry we messed up. Super Jova feels bad, man.
Feels bad. Super Jova is going to banish all of us to the Shadow Realm now. Please don't do that, sir. I just started. This is actually, I'm actually 2 weeks from retirement. Don't fire me.
Oh. You know what? Speaking of retirement, while these guys go through this, I was looking at some of the new TV shows coming out, and Lethal Weapon. They're making a Lethal Weapon TV show.
Yeah. What? No way.
And
no way.
There's a trailer out for it and everything, and it just looks wrong. Like Damon Wayans is Murtaugh, and some random dude is Riggs.
Oh gosh.
It's very bizarre. It is very bizarre.
Showing our age here, guys, talking about this here. And all the picks right now are actually going the same. I don't know if they kind of just did an agreement and saying they're going to do the same pick until those last picks. But so far, just everything that I said earlier. Yeah, all these picks are really strong. Azul's a really good band. Kael'thas is a really good band. Thrall, one of the best solo laners in the game. And yes, if it's going to show like it was last time, it was Zagara and Chromie, which Zagara will be laning against Thrall. And we'll have to see exactly how they utilize Chromie's poking ability on this map, which is generally done around rotations.
Lord Boo asked a very good question. Hey, Robo, what do you think about the redraft, man? He seems more upset that I poked him in his stomach when he was trying to sleep.
Yeah, he probably
hasn't said anything yet.
My cat just demanded where the food bowl is. He's like, I keep pushing it off of the edge down the stairs, but I don't understand why it's here. Why isn't it here? I got really intelligent cats, guys. Yeah, this draft, once again, just going exactly like we saw. Sylvanas Tyrande being picked up here. Both teams just respecting it. I love to see it. Keeping it classy, folks.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are really strong. They know how to play the game. Sportsmanlike conduct is always encouraged. But yeah, Kuma, there is going to be a Lethal Weapon TV show on Fox. There's actually a few movie TV adaptations that make no sense whatsoever.
They had Rush Hour. It got canceled now, though, already.
Did it?
Yeah, Rush
good.
Hour's already
It was
canceled.
pretty. It was pretty bad.
You seem
Me
like
and
a
my
TV
sister would watch it like
aficionado. Yeah.
ironically on the weekends because like I like doing bad movie night and stuff. So it was just like,
You seem like a TV aficionado. Like,
ooh,
what's your
no,
favorite
no.
show, man? What's your favorite show? I'm gonna call you out right now. Like you've ever seen
Of all time,
of all time. I'm putting you on the spot,
Seinfeld.
huh?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. There you
I was
go,
watching that
man.
just earlier tonight. The Switch episode where Jerry tried to make the roommate switch. Timeless.
For me, it was definitely Breaking Bad. But I'm a huge fan of dramas, huge fan of like lots of method acting and things like that. That was an amazing show. But MASH, there we go. There's a really old one. I really love MASH. Like
Ooh.
growing up with parents, it was an amazing show for its time and a really good case study. I might have been a history minor, just saying, guys. But still, as we're moving on with this draft, is everything still the same? Let me check. Actually, Li Ming was banned out. I think it was a different ban. It
It's
was
a
Uther last
deviation.
time.
Uther was banned last time, yeah.
So interesting. I don't know exactly what they're
So
doing. That
everything
maybe playing
else
some head
was,
games.
yeah. Um.
We're just sitting here like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, because that changes the conversation a little bit. Uther's now out there on the table, as is Rhaegar. Do Snipe Squad end up going, down the same route that they went before? I've watched some Game of Thrones already because I watched the first season and bits and pieces here and there. I probably am going to start watching it again this season and just ask someone every day, like, what does that mean? What?
Yeah, but we are seeing. I want to see what Snipe Squad's going to pick here. They got the Rhaegar there. That was the last time, right? Too as well or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Penis says that Snipe Squad's missing some key players this week.
Oh my
Penis
goodness.
is a rock star, by the way. He's out of the problem. Whoa, wait. Murky? Okay.
He didn't. Yeah. Murky. I don't know exactly what's
They're
going on now. I
locked
think
into the
they're
Murky pick. They're locked in. They're locked in.
they're just messing around now, guys.
Handlebars. You're locked in, man.
I feel like we're just casting like a game that everybody's just having fun, which is what I love about Chair League. Of course, people want to win in a best of three. They might just say on game one, just kind of throw out some really random stuff just to try it, and then in the end, when it gets to game two and game three, they might take it a little bit seriously. But I love that the teams are just having fun here, just drafting some interesting heroes that are going to be really fun to cast and really fun to watch for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that changed the texture and dynamic of this map entirely by considering Murky, because he's going to be a constant annoyance, always have a different, objective than the rest of the team, potentially. He has pretty solid wave clear, so he can participate actively in a 4-man rotation. But again, like, his split pushing potential could very much be a counter to what Sycom eSports has up their sleeve. And we do see a deviation in this draft by taking Tassadar away.
So they did get that Tassadar now because Snipe Squad didn't snipe it away from them. So once again, both teams kind of just literally drafting like two different types of team comps in a row, just playing around with each other. And now things are looking way different. What are they going to round out? Obviously, they need a front line.
I remember what's different now.
What?
Snipe Squad at first picked Chromie.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't lock in Chrome this time.
Okay, yeah, I'm on them now. But we do see Arthas get picked up.
Yes,
Stitches.
So Arthas and Stitches being picked up. Gonna see some new front lines. I mean, we have seen Stitches being picked up in some drafts, not all the time, but Arthas. Man, ever since before this patch, I can't remember the last time I've casted an Arthas. Unless we're talking about ARAM, which doesn't really count. GG.
Let's see. I'm excited for this.
Oh my goodness! Apparently, Murky equals Chromie. Moki. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So we need to move the teams around. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. I always jack this part up.
Yeah. This is the hardest part here because usually the players just make the lobby and arrange everything with their own teams.
With us. So handlebars, fate, right?
The chat's so excited right now. I hate it when delay goes on and they're not realizing that we just said that Murky is actually equal to Chromie. They're like, Murky! Sorry, guys.
Wait. So Joy, Prince is over here, Diamond. Is that right? Because
I
Sycom
think
eSports
so.
is the home team, so they be. Oh no, Castle Bravo. He gets switched with Iuta.
I
These guys are
think that
really
would be it.
testing my like roster knowledge here. It's like I know all the guys like on these teams, but I just don't. It's like an encyclopedia of sorts to be able to be like, oh, these guys.
Everybody's like so disappointed it's Chromie. I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I mean that
Get
it's
wrecked.
not murky.
Oh, got it right.
You did it.
In your face, in your face. All right, start this game up.
There's Chromie staring me right in the face right now. With
So
that
yeah, the
stem.
whole murky, GG, LOL, murky's Chromie. Yeah, because that's right. Chromie's probably not in the heroesdraft.com thing yet.
Yeah, because usually
Correct.
they take into account that since it's like the official thing that Blizzard uses, that tournaments don't use it for 2 weeks. So they just probably say, oh, well, if they don't use it for 2 weeks, they aren't developing in 2 weeks. We have like, families to take care of,
Penis
video games to
Chromie over
play.
murky, Balefish, Snipe Squad, please.
Who said that?
The penis?
Oh,
Did
man,
you just
guys.
say that to get me to say that again?
I did.
Wrecked.
I'm not going to lie.
Wrecked.
This is going to be a fun set, guys. It's already starting out to be really fun. Sorry for the little bit of delay. Redrafts do happen, no technology issues. But we're about to actually get into game number 1 of Sycom eSports versus Snipe Squad.
The delay is 30 seconds, which I feel is a fair balance between integrity of the match and me being able to respond to people's comments without
Yeah.
forgetting what they're talking about.
Especially on a map like this, 30 seconds is like
Yeah.
so long. And Heroes of the Storm in general, I'd say, because there's no farming, because there's no items, like seconds when you're rotating to objectives, when you're rotating to save a teammate or to help in a team fight, 2 seconds. 2 seconds is an eternity. So yeah, 30 seconds is more than enough.
Lord Boo, my prediction is that there are going to be some snoots getting booped.
Snoots getting booped here as we are ready to start.
GG,
game
the
number-
AI, the UI thing got changed. It's all been out of shape now.
Oh gosh, yeah, that is completely different than I'm used to.
Production value. So, okay.
All right,
I'll
then.
have to see if Ahi has updated his UI next game.
for the right, I'm gonna start asking on here on the red team here, which is gonna be Snipe Squad. We have Rhaegar being played by Enjoy, King of Skills playing Muradin, Diamond playing Arthas, Castle Bravo playing Zagara, and Handlebars playing that new hero, Chromie.
Sycom eSports representing on the left side, Fates on Stitches, Rebels on Sharonda, CDN's on Thrall. Big action already, Ayuda and Prince. I'll get back to you in a second. I swear, Handlebars are getting a ton of damage. Haunting Wave is not enough to secure the first kill. But CDN goes down, and that's the first blood 20 seconds in this game, ladies.
Oh man, yeah, that happened really quick there, and yeah, CDN does go down. I like to call him Canadian player because he is from Canada, but hey, to each their own. And the hook going out here, Fate not able to landing it, but he did land that hook at the very beginning, but his team didn't have enough follow-up for it.
What I did like from Rebel, though, is he threw out the Lunar Flare before the hook even was confirmed, and that's trusting your teammates. I love when you see that. It speaks to coordinated play, and it's something that's going to need to come into effect more as the stun meta starts to get lowered here. And wait, people can't see the match?
Uh-oh, hopefully that's not anything really huge going on here. Looking at some of these talents here, Ranger's Mark was taken by Tyrande, Overflowing Quiver, nothing too really out of the ordinary here. Level 1 Eternal Hunger, just for the interested, is being picked up by Arthas. And Compounding Aether, which is actually, after hitting 25 heroes, it increases Sandblast's damage. So actually going for that Q build on Chromie, whenever I thought I saw a lot of people actually go more for the Dragon's Breath build, but we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why this isn't working. Did the maybe the patch has done something weird today? Because I didn't change anything. Like we saw the lobby and stuff and the map load up. But one thing I can do is turn that off. Turn that off. And then
No,
Did my game crash?
I'm not exactly sure here. As we are seeing Diamond here does get hooked here on Arthas. Takes a lot of damage here, but he's
That
going to be
would
able to
do
get
it.
away. What happened?
Get wrecked. My game crashed, I guess.
Oh gosh, so I'm gonna just keep you guys informed on what's going on in the game here. It's kind of a radio show. It's kind of been one of my dreams doing that. As we see Prince on Tassel here, trying to get away, escaping as fast as possible here. He does get rooted there by the totem, and they are doing really good blocking there on Murden on King of Skills, but he's gonna get away, and Murden might actually overextend it here. Just kidding, he's Murden. He's gonna leap away, and he's gonna be completely safe. And right now it's level 4 to level 4. 1 kill for the side of Snipe Squad, so the experience is just about even as they are picking up these level 4 talents. And just for those people interested on the new heroes, we have Deathlord being picked up, so just like Lauren was talking about in our show here, and Piercing Stance, so you're going to hit 2 people with that Q. So going for that full Q build so far from Chromie, which is going to allow a lot of poke.
Alright, the reconnect was successful, so I am jumping back in here. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh man,
That's
things
weird.
happen every single time here. We're just seeing these rotations going out. Level 5, of course, being hit first by Snipe Squad. Nothing too interesting going on. We have a battle going on between Canadian player here on Castle Bravo on Zagara and Thrall, respectively. But just rotations going out. We are seeing some interesting time capsules being put down here as, yes, they do capture Fate here on that. Stitches with it, and they follow up the CC, but it's Stitches. He's super squishy, and Rebel doing a really good job poking, making sure it's going down. And actually, Diamond gets hooked right there and goes down on Arthas. So it's going to be 1 kill to 1 now as they look to even the score on Sycom eSports.
Insert super solid casting here with in-depth analysis and understanding of the game. Alright, I'm back in now. Hopefully it shows for people. Because what was weird about that was I could see the game just fine even though it wasn't being streamed to OBS, so I don't know how that feels.
It shows right now on stream that you're reconnecting on the game with delay, so I think it's going to go completely fine.
Yeah, I see the game now, so hopefully this is a thing again. Yeah, late shooters, no bracket because I'm not fancy enough to have a bot yet. I'd probably consider that. Some action here in the top lane though. You do have Darby doing some damage. Chromie with the land on. Actually didn't do that much damage though.
Yeah, I know. He actually didn't. Meanwhile, for these next talents being picked here, we have Mobius Sleep being picked up here, which reduces the Dragon Breath's mana cost, but allows you to cast it. Its cooldown goes down, allows you to cast it more often. So it's gonna be interesting to see if that's just for even more poke coming out of Chromie.
Yeah, level 7 talents, a slight experience lead for Sycom eSports. Not too much though. But the red web weavers are first picked up for Snipe Squad. They can probably use to try to snowball them in a late game. A lot of times what you'll see is the first team will get a turn in, and then they'll just play defense for the rest of the game until they start getting kills. So that's pretty cool.
One thing Chromie just actually threw me off there because I thought there was an error. I'm like, wait, why is she getting her talent? Oh yeah, that's right. She gets her talents a level early, guys. I completely forgot about that. So already testing the new heroes. That's why I love Cassie's game, following this out. But yeah, first Web Weavers going over the Snipe Squad, and they're going to look to, with these first ones being weak, of course, just getting some front walls, getting as many of them as they can so they can get an EXP lead.
Yeah, they've postured themselves to at least get this middle wall. Chromie hanging on the back handlebars, doing what he can for the range poke. Being mindful of his positioning. Lunar Flare does come down on the diamond with the owner's mark follow-up. Does good amount of health left. Sting his skills, trying to push the advantage. One of the towers already out of ammo. The other one on its way out. Both of them are pretty low health.
Yeah, this is one of the problems of their comp. As they are going to be able to get these walls, they probably could have got down maybe faster with another comp with some of that damage. Because remember, Chromie's Q doesn't do any damage to structures. She's not very good at it. But they still managed to get that front wall, at least doing that, and, not tremendously ahead in experience, but well enough.
Yeah, and Castle Bravo actually got a good amount of value down here, going through the entire bottom, both of the towers and the wall, in the middle lane. In the top lane, though, Sylvanas was pretty much able to negate a bit of damage, landing on either one of those towers.
Yeah. But meanwhile, we're just having these rotations going off. Like you said, all they have to do is try to play defense as well as they can. Zagara is going to be amazing at that because he's going to have her creep everywhere. But we do see Arthas getting hooked, following up with the Lunar Flare here. Will he be able to go down? No, he's going to be able to get away just completely safely. Diamond just escaping.
Al in the back of the face for posterity. He got invited to a party he did not feel like being a part of. Was able to get out of there okay. Both teams are level 9. Majority of the members down in the bottom lane trying to defend this turn in. A lot of creep already spread here, so value on that front from Castle Bravo already. And both these teams not really looking for kills just yet. No one's being out of position to really offer that.
Yeah, we actually see Chromie for her ultimate, remember, because she gets it 1 level earlier. is going to be picking up that temporal loop. So looking to do some playmaking with that, seeing if she can catch anybody out of position when they're trying to retreat, especially with these rotations, and seeing if they can burst them down with their stun comp of Murden and Arthas root.
Rebel getting chased out of here by Castle Bravo. Scar excels on this map, being able to poke people away from the turn-ins, keeping an eye with the creep. Heroics here about to get picked up for Snipe Squad, gives them a slight tier advantage. Let me see if I can look at the talents. Ancestral Healing, Avatar, Devouring Maul, Temporal Loop, which was already used. Jury still out for Arthas.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting what you can see here. With the double tank comp, he doesn't necessarily have to go for those things, as we do see the stasis going out onto Stitches here, and the ultimate's being dropped on Fate, but actually look, the re-engagement going on here, and Arthas taking a lot of damage here. Diamond actually going to go down before the Ancestral can go in and connect on him. King of Skills having to run away here, and he's going to have to wait for the Ancestral to get off cooldown before they can re-engage, but this is probably going to be a turn-in for Sycom.
Yeah, definitely. They are going to get the turn in there. They got the kill on Diamond, and that was unfortunate for him. He was stuck right in the middle of that Starfall. Excellently placed. Nicely done by Sycom eSports.
Yeah, apparently somebody's saying audio is ahead of the video by about 15 seconds, so
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure how that's
All
going.
kinds of technical problems tonight. You know what? I will say I am.
He says it seems
2-for-2.
fine to him, Lord Boost says, so maybe it's just a one-person issue, I'm not sure. Super Jova also says it's fine with him, so we're going to continue on with this, as we do have, you know, Sycom eSports being able to push here, and remember, they have that Sylvanas, so they can make so much more value out of these, and look at that hook going out here, it's a lot of damage going on there. Rhaegar is going to get bursted down in the well-placed Force Wall as well.
Rhaegar loses his life in a supreme burst of health, or a burst of damage. Fate landing the hook, yanks him out of position. The Hunter's Mark stun follow-up is more than enough for the takedown. The first 4 of the game gets claimed in the top lane. Sycom eSports looking to further press this advantage. The hook just misses on Chromie. Handlebars, you want to be concerned about that. Doing what he can to try to push and stop this aggression here, but there's still a good amount of life left on the structure.
Yeah, that is the power of Sylvanas, disabling those structures, making sure no damage can go out. And with the limited amount of poke, especially since Chromie doesn't have like a Q ability to cast on those minions, they can just survive even longer. So maybe this Chromie pick starting to not show too much value on this map. But it's only level 11 to level 12. You just have to, you know, stop Sycom from doing another turn in and getting more value with Sylvanas, and you can maybe turn this around.
Sycom eSports has a piggy bank, though. They have 96 gems racked up here. There is the root from Arthas onto Fate, but again, the remix of this Starfall value, Diamond's getting absolutely shredded, and Ancestral Healing doesn't land in time.
Oh my goodness, what a well-placed Maul. Will they be able to capitalize on this here? Yeah, they try to. Ayuda actually almost immediately gets bursted down, but King of Skills has to go away as quickly as possible with that Dwarf Toss. But yeah, it's going to be in favor of Sycom eSports, and like you said, that Force Wall and just everybody being zoned around that corridor allowed that, you know, that Starfall did so much damage.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Arthas did go for Army of the Dead, and from what we've seen in these last 2 fights, he's going to need that. That was on cooldown too. But one thing that could really work against him with that pickup, Starfall is going to shred all the minions with the added damage that it does these days, so he might not get the value he was hoping for out of that.
Yeah, you know, and I here's the thing. I always love to say when I'm trying to see why players pick the heroes on the maps, you can't just completely discount them and say, well, she doesn't have wave clear or whatever. You did see the usefulness of Chromie right there. When they were trying to do that turn in at bottom, Chromie was just continuously poking them the entire time so they could not turn in those spider tokens. So a really good job from that Chromie on handlebars playing. And that's where she's going to be really effective on these maps with turn-ins.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by this turn of events. So Sycom eSports opted to forego you pressing the advantage that they had on talent tiers to go back and get mana and health and they arc back and left. And that just paved the way for Snipe Squad to get this turn in absolutely for free. They're going to be able to get on even talent tiers, so the advantage that they had just kind of went out the window.
Yeah, now they're aggressively pushing this top lane here. We'll have to see with the double stun coming out for that Lunar Flow. Really well placed there, but kind of grouping up, which is going to be the problem when you do have that double tank comp going out. But they're playing it safe right now, making sure they get too out of position. But look at that flank coming out of CD in here as the Sundering goes up. Arthas is going down. Murden's going down as well. What a turn. What a flank there by Thrall.
Wow, and the hook on Enjoy for a little bit more insult to injury. There's going to be 3 members of Snipe Squad going down on this push. Does not go the way that they want it to. And one thing that I would point out in these team fights, something about what Sycom eSports is doing is shredding the front line of Snipe Squad. King of Skills and Diamond, every time they stick their faces out there, Starfall comes down, and they just find themselves with absolutely no health. It's surprising to enjoy, because that's another time that the Ancestral Healing is not there landing on time. They have to be concerned about that, and make sure that they're using the Ancestral Healing preemptively if they're going to make sure that they land.
Yeah, and that's just the power of Tyrande there, doing all that damage with Starfall, along with marking that primary target, which they're focusing down with that burst damage. And like you said, just not even in time for Rhaegar with those front lines being, way up there.
Yeah, so they spent 55 gems to get that turn in, and they didn't really get too much to show for it. The bottom fort is down, but Sycom eSports has 127 gems in the bank.
Yeah, they're willing to turn these in here. They're saying, our pockets are getting a little heavy here, guys. I think our movement speed's about to go down. We are overburdened. Let's turn in some of these bad boys.
Yeah, Fate's moving around a little slower on Stitches because he's got his pockets full. A bunch of members of Sycom eSports rallying here in the bottom lane. Snipe Squad looking to respond.
Yeah, and handlebars.
On CDN. There's the Storm Bolt.
Yeah, we're seeing the teamfight going on. Once again, this is doing so much damage from that Starfall. Rebel's actually taking a bunch of damage too, though, having to back out here. But who will go down first? Is the Ancestral's actually timed there on Castle Bravo, and the ultimate going out from Chromia as well. Enjoy taking a lot of damage. Will King of Skills be able to get away as he does pop? Oh, the cleanse and the leap away, just barely escaping.
I mean, that was like 2 pixels off from being a confirmed kill on King of Skills. The cleanse was there, nicely done. King of Skills using his jump to just narrowly avoid the hook. Very close. One thing I would point out there is that the Devouring Maul actually missed everybody. That would have been huge if that landed on even one person on the side of Sycom.
Yeah, most definitely. But I'd like to say a lot of people, what you see in professional play when there's not a bunch of, like kills and everything like that, which you might see from some of the lower divisions, is, it seems like they got away. They didn't get any deaths on the side of Snipe Squad, but Sycom won that team fight because they were able to turn in.
You see what they said in the chat just now? Tyrande walk through Maul, we drafted that. But this is going to be a big push for Sycom eSports. They have a 2-level advantage. They have a tier advantage. They have Sylvanas on their team who can lock down these structures. So this could really hurt for Snipe Squad. They have to be mindful of their positioning. The front line has been taking a beating all game. So how hard can they be, how much can they afford to be aggressive? Do you sacrifice the middle fort? I think that was just a necessary evil to the situation.
Yeah, to me, even me, in my position right there, they were probably a little too far forward, but luckily Sycom decided that they didn't really want to take a team fight and risk anything as well. But yeah, once that fort's there and you know it's going to go down, you have to do it. I guess an argument could be made, though, is that they just didn't want to give it up to free for Sylvanas, because if you do, she could probably get this keep. But with it being lower health, probably going to get this wall, but I don't think this keep is going to go down.
Yeah, they were stuck in a rock and a hard place. They did rotate up to clear out the Web Weaver there, but there's still a good amount of health on the one in the middle. And the one bot has just been allowed to just roam casually for free. It's made it up to the keep wall down there. All 5 members of Snipe Squad. Oh, that hook just barely missed King of Skills. I don't know if they hit a minion or if it just hit a wall.
It hit one of the Zagara creeps, yeah. And we do have a team fight. Ooh, the Maul actually going out, hitting 3 people. The Sun Ring going on to disengage here, but King of Skills taking a lot of the Castle Bravo goes down before the Ancestral can go off. Diamond, King of Skills, Handlebars, and Enjoy trying to back off here, but that's going to be another trade in favor of Sycom, and they get the hook on Diamond, and Arthas goes down too.
This composition has been absolutely convincing. That's another couple of heroes down on the side of the Snipe Squad. Sylvanas is locking down his keep, and King of Skills should be careful here, because once Hunter's Mark comes off the cooldown, he could be having a really bad time himself.
Oh my goodness, which team is named Snipe Squad? Which team?
Ouch.
Oh, wow, that was a moment of silence there we had to do.
And that's brutal. The Snipe Squad still does not have their level 16 talents, and what I've been seeing in these team fights, Hunter's Mark, ton of value, hooks, ton of value, Starfall, way more impactful than I anticipated it being. It's been so hard for Snipe Squad to really posture aggressively and look to hard engage with the Double Warrior front line when this Starfall has been perfectly followed up by Wailing Arrow. The Wailing Arrow came out right after the Starfall, so Enjoy wasn't able to heal. They just weren't able to respond, and they were just sitting there getting cooked.
Yeah, exactly, and they're on the same talent tier here, but they couldn't stop that turn-in before they got to the same talent tier, so they're going to have another Sylvanas-based Web Weaver push. And if they're not careful here, if they get picked off, this could definitely be a game-winning push.
Absolutely. Middle keep is already down. They're level and some change away from getting level 20. If one of these keeps go down, they should be able to get their Storm talents, and that could be absolutely rough for Snipe Squad. looking at talents really quick with this busted UI, you just see overflowing light, two-shot armor, some more damage, but also has to throw. Oh, no!
Oh, if he had hooked anybody else, that would have been so good. They would have probably been able to push the win here, getting a few more picks, but man, that was a damn good hook.
Scary. And that was in like the perfect spot. It left him right in that little nook. He was just so fortunate to take a little false time. So Diamond gets pulled out of position here. He's a ton of damage. Rooted, stunned, deleted. The ancestral healing misses. Starfall comes down. Enjoy almost gets out of it. Takes back into position though. Gets taken out. King of Skills alone on the front line. Is able to go across back. And this has been absolutely intense.
Yes, absolutely. These team fights are just so extending, just so about positioning here. And with this positioning that they've been able to do with this double front line, they're just committing so far in, and this Starfall plus the Toronto Mark just doing so much work winning these, and it cannot be understated how much Fate's hooks have been going down as they are just going on the floor here, Halorn.
Yeah, shield's already down 70%. I don't see how this is anything other than GG. All 5 members alive and good. Yeah, game 1 is going to go over to Sycom eSports.
Yeah, really well played there. You look at it though, 12 kills to 1. That's always been the problem with the new scaling reworks, and this is going to be a testing. This is where pro teams are going to be testing this. You know, it's easy to say, you know, double tanks back because tanks are really strong, but assassins are still really strong. Tyrande is still really strong. The damage that can go out sometimes can be just so overwhelming for these front lines, and that's what seemed to happen that game. They just couldn't kill anybody, and they got killed.
That was tough. That was 100% tough. Some of the key elements that I feel in that game. Chromie probably didn't get the value that Snipe Squad was hoping. She literally just came out today, so you're on the bleeding edge when you take a hero like that. So if they're not immediately and apparently strong out of the gate, sometimes you can struggle. The poke potential from Chromie just wasn't there, and they had Tyrande. It's not like they had, you know, a lot of healing. That was arguably a half support being able to endure whatever Chromie was throwing out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Chromie did do a really good job at turning out those turn-ins, but you know, her ability to burst a hero down when you're picking that double like tank comp, you have to have a really impactful assassin that by themselves can like 100-0 somebody. And you know, Chromie can't do that. Chromie's really good at poking from afar and doing a lot of things, and you know, they just fell behind right there in the game. And Tomb of the Spider Queen is one of those things, like you said, if you defend well and you can keep getting turns in a row like they did at the very end, it's really hard to overcome that, and that's exactly what happened with giving Sycom that game 1 victory.
One thing that's really interesting to me about that is I had the good fortune of casting the next first finals this past Sunday, where I did see Sycom eSports in action, and it was a very close best of 3, but they did go down to RFS Gaming. So when I saw that I was casting this team tonight, I was really excited not only to cast them, but go up against a really good, strong team like Snipe Squad, because I was like, they're going to show up, they're going to have a fire lit under them, they're going to want to bounce back strong, and that's exactly what they showed in Game 1. And Emi09173, I am absolutely rocking out in my jammies. Problem?
Hey man, when you're at home, you got to be at home. Well,
Hey.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'll make a deal with you. If you guys lobby to get Halorn to cast some regionals, you know, or maybe go to a LAN, then he'll get on the suit and tie, guys. He'll do it.
I have dressed up, you know, with button downs and stuff in the past. It's not out of the question. I just I wanted to feel comfortable for that first time show deal that we did, which was really cool. Let me ask, Rebel, what map you guys want?
Yeah, this is always an interesting thing that I love about best of threes here is now they're going to be able to go around and, you know, wait, who picked that map right there? Was that Snipe Squad?
That was Snipe Squad.
Ooh, no. So now Sycom is actually, according to the rules, right, going to pick the map. So, man, if you can win that map that's not your pick, you have a huge advantage in these best of threes.
Well, what's really cool about this for Snipe Squad is that, you know, they have first pick first ban now. So they obviously have identified some holes in their composition that go around. And they're gonna be in a position to make some key changes by being first pick. I do have the map change, and it's gonna be Cursed Hollow we're going to for
Ooh,
game
Cursed
2.
Hollow, one of my favorite maps. It's one of those things where there's so many different objectives besides, you know, just the curse. There's 2 bosses, lots of different mercenary camps, different ways to push. So, you know, it's not all about the tributes. It's what you do whenever you're not getting those tributes that is almost more important.
Yeah, I just saw Emi said shirt off next time. I don't know about all that.
Oh, man. I know you got fans there. I'm going to join this lobby through you.
Oh, I do not know about all that. But
Do you have the observer link, or are we waiting for a little bit?
I think we could take a couple minute break.
All right.
The Cooper says I program in a nude. I do not, but I do program listening to jazz music or chill hip hop of sorts. These teams, I don't know. We might not be getting a break here because
they're ready to get in. Yeah,
jumping in here. Sans invite. I'm in gym clothes earlier, but those are literally more comfortable than pajamas. I don't know. My pants, like, these are comfy, man. I don't know. And I've had, like, this shirt, my Flash shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Faces, I'm just not wearing pants.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's what they say. It's like if you're casting those regionals, which aren't lands, it's they always joke. They say if you get there, you don't necessarily have to dress in pants. You can just wear a fancy suit up top and just kind of be relaxing and chilling.
I'm seeing some new names in here. Amy09173. Welcome, Kevin. Welcome. Cromag as well.
Yeah, welcome, guys. And if you're just tuning in right now, for people just jumping in as you see some of our viewer counts going up, this is going to be a match between Snipe Squad and Sycom eSports, with Sycom taking the first game in this pro division of Chair League. And they looked really strong, so we're going to have to see if Snipe Squad can respond on Cursed Hollow and even up the set.
Yeah, just getting everything ready for this next game. Gonna be cool. Let's see. Let me get this draft set up. Because I'm good at this.
Because you're good at this.
Production value.
Yeah, man. It's tough. I will honestly say, like, as a tournament caster, for the most part, I have the easy life because the players set up every single thing. That's all you have to do is just get into the lobby like you did with Divergent Gaming, and I'm sure you did it also with Nextverse. This is tough. You got to be on your toes. The players will call you out if you don't have if you don't have their teams right.
Yeah. To Super Jova's credit, you have made the progression overall very straightforward with creating the draft links and stuff. So big shout out on that front.
Yeah, making everything organized is so easy. I say it's hard, but at the same time, it could be so much more difficult if Super Jova didn't put so much work into this website that he has. And actually, my cat has finally decided to join me over here, guys. And I think it's cropped, so you can't see it. But yeah, he's hanging out here by my mic.
All right, I got the link sent out to these teams. Commando in Chief below, Presidential top.
I guess I'm going to satisfy Lord Boo, correct, as we're waiting for this draft to go. I'm going to reach over and grab Mr. Tough. Here he is. He's a really good cat. He doesn't care if you pick him up or do anything with him. He's going to say something. No, he's not going to say anything. There you go, buddy. Go relax.
So, switch this over to the draft. Snipe Squad's all ready. They want to jump in here. Sycom eSports ready up on their own accord. Snipe Squad will have first pick, first ban, like we were talking about. So that's going to change the nature of this draft a little bit. I'd be surprised if we saw Chromie again for the rest of this set. Not the most inspiring hero that I've seen so far. Well, I mean, it's just her poke damage. It's effective, but at the same time, the delay and competitive play can really kill what she's good at, I feel. Competitive play is so snap decision, so fast moving, that an imposed 1 second delay, that can be tough.
Yeah, most definitely. So we're in the draft right now. Snipe Squad is getting the first ban here, and it's going to be Kelthos. Hey guys, I think we've seen that first ban before, so not surprising at all.
Jeeve Hots and Day Creeper, thanks for the follows, guys. Really appreciate it. Kelthos already getting yanked off the board with the first. No, sorry, that was awful.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend I know what that is, but yeah.
I have an idea. I have an idea what it is.
But we're getting this next band coming out here as Kelthos is banned out, and this is Cursed Hollow. This is really more open to interpretations. You definitely want to see, I think, since Specialist, it's a really large map, don't have much of an impact, having one of those strong assassins banned out, and yeah, they're going to ban out that Li Ming.
I showed our faces again.
Oh gosh.
Production value. Li Ming gets yanked off the board. Very solid poke hero, especially on a map like Cursed Hollow. Cooldown resets are a thing, and something to be concerned about. Another follow. Really appreciate it. I'll check the name in just a second. Snipe Squad first picks Murden.
Yep, he does the Muradin going out. People just pick Muradin in all kinds of different places, but there's one thing you can't argue about him. He's one of the best front lines in the game. He can set up so many different stun compositions just by having him on your team. So drafting him early just allows a lot of flexibility. And Thrall being picked up here by Sycom eSports, who, if I remember correctly, they picked him up last game, and they did a great job with him. So not straying away from what they're already really good at.
Yeah, Alpha Cactus is gonna be Cursed Hollow. I just tried to zoom it in a little bit so you can see more of the actual Majig. Yeah, it's a pretty good balance right there. So Thrall Tehran to get picked up. Sycom Esports made a ton of damage, big changes in team fights with Tyrande, so I'm not at all surprised to see those heroes get picked up again. But Snipe Squad,
Ooh, they did it
off the path, and they're going to take Tassadar Illidan, which is going to change the entire conversation for the rest of this draft.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, you can't. Tassadar already there. They already have their one part of the Illidan comp that they really need. They're gonna have to pick up a support to back it up, and this is gonna force out a ban from Sycom Esports because they're thinking in their head, man, who goes really well with Tassadar and Illidan Rhaegar? But no, Uther does as well, so they do ban out Uther. They don't want that D shield. They probably think maybe they can set up with Tyrande and a comp that they're going to go with this. They can burst them down before Ancestral goes off, but definitely going to be interesting to see what Snipe Squad does for their second support.
I think Snipe Squad, they ban out Sonya, but I was going to say they might want to take ETC off the table. Tyrande was doing a good amount of work with Stitches. Stitches is another really strong hero on this map. But I do feel like a mosh pit could be really bad on Tassadar. Tassadar can live forever, but it's hard to do that if you're stunned and unable to use your dimensional warp.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can catch Illidan in there and he can't, do anything about it either, of course you can burst him down as well. We'll have to see if they do end up picking up that ETC, but they do. Look at that. They ban out Uther and they actually pick up Rhaegar. So trying to eliminate the amount of supports that you can have there for their double support comp. So I think that's really smart play for them going for that double deny of that Illidan comp.
Yeah, it was a gamble on their part of sorts by taking Uther off the table. Snipe Squad did ban out Sonya. I mean, well, it did position them to get one of the supports, really, because they did have two more heroes to pick coming out of the second round. But this pretty much leaves Brightwing for Snipe Squad, which isn't a bad hero in any aspect. She can potentially struggle against Tyrande's Hunter's Mark, especially before level 10. Before they're able to get Blink Heal. But at the same time, they'd be double support. So Tassadar shielding could definitely come into play here to counteract some of the missteps or weaknesses in Brightwing's kit. One more hero to pick for Sycom Esports, 25 seconds in, and they go for Arthas.
Hey, so right now we've seen Arthas' rise back into the meta, at least in the Pro League of the Pro Division of Chair League. So Arthas being picked up this time by Sycom, so we're going to have to see if they use him really effectively, but you're completely correct on this. They're going to pick up Brightwing most likely as their second support for Illidan. It definitely provides a lot of shields for him, like whenever they do that phase shift build. But at the same time, you're going to want, as Illidan, you say, I have these shields from Brightwing. We're going to try not to do as much damage as I can during these time while these shields are up. And then, because, Brightwing, except for Blink Heal, doesn't have a lot of targeted heals. So it's going to cause Tassadar play to be really on point to make sure that he can live. And, of course, him hitting some really good ultimates on his side to make sure he gets that really big HP pool.
I have precognition, man. Because I was like, I hope they go for Falstad. Because like we were talking about before the beginning of this set in our concept meta show, Falstad's W build could be absolutely sinister against Sycom Esports lineup. Thrall jumps in, he starts getting shredded by the W. Arthas has no escape. He waddles in there. Gets stunned, gets polymorphed, gets shredded by Falstad's W2. It's the perfect counter synergy to a dive composition.
This could be the rise of Haloran's W build Falstad. We will see if that's exactly what talents they're going to pick up. I know he's hyped about it. I'm excited to see how the new Falstad is going to be built in general. And what is Sycom Esports going to pick up for their last pick here? They obviously have a front line, but they're going to go for Lunara to do that extra amount of poke damage. And really, I think she can do quite a bit of work against Illidan herself.
Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison.
I knew you were going to say that.
Every time Lunara gets picked, that's step one. That is absolutely step one.
Yeah,
sure.
Good point being made here in the chat here by Lord Boo. is the soaking advantage definitely going to be at Snipe Squad when you come to rotating to these tributes because they have Brightwing and Falstad. So they're going to be able to soak two different lanes, be able to get into the fight. And as long as Snipe Squad is positioning, carefully, they won't lose anything. They'll just get that extra experience. And it'll force some hard rotations out from Sycom.
Yeah, again, looking at these drafts, very solid point there. Snipe Squad has afforded themselves a lot of global potential. They'll be able to soak lanes, get experience, get an advantage on that front. Team fighting, we'll have to see where Falstad goes. As far as the objective goes, the advantage could go to Sycom eSports. It really could. Because Lunara has a lot of poke potential, being able to keep people off of the tributes. The Owl can reach across the map, alert, Sycom eSports to whenever someone's trying to go for the boss. There's a lot of root synergy to be had here, some burst potential. Nature's Culling could be really impactful on a map like Cursed Hollow. I'm excited.
Yeah, what Haloran, I'm translating for what Haloran's trying to say here is these guys know how to draft really well, and this is going to be a good matchup. And I'm ready to see if they're going to be able to make this, go to a best of 3, because those are my favorite games, because those are where all the tension comes in. All the best strategies get thrown into the mix, and we see the best plays. So come on, Snipe Squad. I know you can do it.
Starting this game up right now. And one thing that I did do is I changed over to the default UI, so I'll have to see later on if there's an update for that. But that should not be a problem.
Yeah, and guys, I'm hopefully it doesn't, but I'm really excited about this. I'm ready for this matchup, dude. My cat is excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about this.
Even the cat. Even the cat.
Give us the prediction, what you think in Twitch chat. Who got the better draft here? Who do you think's going to win? Or if you think it's kind of just a toss-up.
So one thing I would point out here is we're loading in the game. Daycreeper said, thanks for doing what you do. Appreciate that. Who cares if we follow? I care a lot, actually, if you guys follow. I started out doing this just by random happenstance. I didn't think I'd be particularly good at it, or anyone would be particularly concerned with my casting. So anytime someone has anything positive to say, it means a lot. It really does. But apparently, the UI change has kind of helped. But everything's a bunch of question marks now, so it's kind of weird anyway.
Yeah. So you want to announce Sycom eSports here?
Yeah, Sycom eSports is over on the left. Iuda's on Lunara. CDN's playing Thrall. Rebel's on Rhaegar. Prince is on Tyrande. And Fate is trolling me on Arthas.
And Snipe Squad here, we have Enjoy playing Tassadar, Handlebars playing Muradin, King of Skills, hopefully he is really skilled on this Brightwing, Diamond playing Illidan, and Castle Bravo playing Falstad.
So this is a pretty big shakeup because last game King of Skills was on Muradin, and now he's playing support. So there's definitely going to be some changes in how Snipe Squad approaches this game. See how they fare with that. We do have an engagement here in the middle lane already. The root goes down on King of Skills. A little bit of poke action with Castle Bravo. Neither team looking to commit too hard for an early gank, though.
And so I want to point out one interesting talent as we do look at some of these changes, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Frost Presence actually picked up as the first talent from Arthas there, which is Howling Blast's cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds when it hits an enemy hero, so really looking for those roots going out.
And against a hero like Illidan, I think that's a really smart choice. You might even see the level 16 talent where if someone's calling the E for a few seconds, they get rooted, and that would make Diamond's life really difficult on Illidan.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, and Immolation being picked up, and actually Gathering Storm still being picked up by Falstad even after the changes. Castle Bravo opting to go for that increasing damage on his Q, which I can't argue, it's still really effective, but I was curious to see if anybody would take the auto attack build, especially with some of the auto attack damage built into the next talents.
King of Skills almost got done dirty in the top lane. Good amount of damage put on him, even with the Hunter's Mark. Was able to just skate away with his life. Iuda hanging up here still, but we do see a return. 3 members of Snipe Squad in the top lane now, actually, so Lunara's in trouble. First blood of the game. Lunara goes down, but there is the counter engagement, and Brightwing loses their life as well.
Oh, so 1-for-1 trade here, so both teams showing they're not afraid to be aggressive in this early game to get these kills pick off before this first tribute spawns.
Yeah, both teams showing that, hey, we know how to engage and we know how to respond. 1 takedown apiece, both teams level 3, well on their way to level 4. We're just hitting the 2-minute mark, so now the camps are going to start to come up. We'll see how these teams prioritize that. Are they going to try to go for a siege camp? It looks like they are, because Illidan is already over on the siege camp. Doing what he can to cut that one up. should have it done in time for the first kill.
Yeah, definitely. If there's one thing that Illidan's really good at is that he has a hatred of 10,000 years towards Merc camps. He gets these done efficiently, fast, and he's so skilled on this map. So he's going to pick this up, going to be able to go back to his team kind of a little bit late on doing this, but at the same time, his team, I think, has enough poke with Brightwing, with Falstad going out, and Tassadar to keep them off this while he will rotate to the top, and that camp will be pushing bottom the entire time.
Yeah. RNG just does kind of favor Snipe Squad in this, provided they were able to poke long enough for Illidan to show up. 4 members of Sycom eSports already here, looking to zone out prior to claim this first tribute, but Enjoy comes around from the back, disrupts the channel, and a whole bunch of damage going on with Castle Bravo, who's able to barrel roll away. Rebel at half health, and I think we might be in for a fight that's going to last a while, ladies.
Yeah, definitely. They're both posturing around this. Lots of poke going out here. CDN trying to get the channel off. He does get hit by the Q here. Fate posturing well as the front line here, trying to zone things here, and they are getting this camp, making sure it's clearing top. So like you said, it's favoring them. So you're going to want to see the Snipe Squad want to do something aggressive here, and yeah, they do, but Falstad ends up taking a lot of damage, and actually the stun going out here on Murden, and he goes down, and Diamond might not be soon to go, but no, he is Illidan. He manages to sneak away with like 10 HP.
Ooh, that shield on Diamond from Tassadar is going to secure that he's going to be able to stay alive, because that siege camp might have taken him out there. First tribute is going to go over to Sycom eSports. One thing that was really integral to how that team fight went, which isn't over yet, because you're going to see Enjoy using his dimensional warp. He's going to get away. No, he's not. He's going to do damage. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, really good plays by Sycom here. They're super aggressive here, making sure they're punishing any positioning mistakes. But what were you talking about in that team fight?
So Castle Bravo got chunked down. He had the barrel roll away, and then Murden jumped over to try to peel for him. Once he did that, that left him exposed. So then that ended up being the first takedown, and then it all just kind of fell in the favor of Sycom eSports for me. So it was really nice that they were able to focus their damage on one hero and then switch over to someone else to take the rest of the team fight in the objective.
Yeah, and even though it's 3 kills to 1 here, we're seeing both teams here almost on the same, wise experience level. Level 7 hit a little bit sooner here by Sycom, but that camp helped out a lot bottom, so even though they lost that team fight, they're a little weighted. Diamond is actually getting rotated here. Are they going to be able to secure this kill and this camp? Yeah, he's going to get stunned out here, but the Tassadar shield's going out. Keeping it alive, King of Skills is going to go down the process, and Diamond, I think, is going to go down very shortly after, so yeah, really well played. Sycom being so aggressive this game.
It's a bloodbath over at this Bruiser camp. Good lord, Sycom eSports feeling empowered and emboldened by that first tribute, invading the Bruiser camp. They do lose to Ronda, but they come away with the camp and 2 more takedowns. Nicely done on their part. Handlebars is here out front trying to capture this before the rest of the team shows up. Sycom eSports is there in time. They on Handlebars, looking to land a root. I'm sure CDN's putting the screws to Castle Bravo, who's going to step forward and not going to throw his Q out there. So another tribute.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I can't state about that is, that aggression was done for a reason, because I knew with the next tribute spawning that what's Illidan going to do on this map? He's going to be taking camps. He can do it solo. So they took a gamble. They see if he was going to be by himself. He did have some help, but it wasn't enough as they had 3 people rotate. So really smart plays by Sycom there, knowing where Illidan's going to be, and that's what it takes here to be in the Pro Division.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at some of these talents. Cleanse for Rhaegar, Luna Momentum for Tyrande. With the Owl builds, you're going to see a lot of heals and when I get kicked out on her front. Wild Vigor over Nature's Calling at 7. Icebound Fortitude for the reduction on cooled on the CC. And Polymorphs, that's pretty good. Follow through for Thrall. Kyle's Embrace Standard Bill. Otherwise, Iron Forge Momentum, Phase Shield, so no cleanse for Brightwing, Reflexive Block, and Boomerang.
Boomerang actually being picked up. What? Is that what you said? So that's interesting. Going still for that full kind of mage stat build. Going with the slight little alteration with that lightning rod talent being picked up on the static shield. So still going for that full build. It's going to be a little bit more unsafe as we do see Tassadar getting engaged here. And he's going to get stunned here. Will he be able to pop out and get away? He does escape. Very
just barely. Close. Enjoy went for that evening stroll through the bottom part of the map and ran into Arthas and company. Eats a ton of damage, and that's actually going to force him to be Hearth back. This could be huge, Bleedies, because they're down a hero, and this is going to be the first curse of the game, and the slight experience advantage is only going to be further exacerbated for Sycom eSports. They're going to pick up their heroics, and they're going to look to push the heck out of this.
Yeah, that was just bad timing for Tassadar to be caught there, rotating a little bit too aggressively, going in that sight line there of that Arthas and getting picked out. But yeah, you said this is going to be a curse. It's going to be able to come back. And they haven't picked up a single tribute this game. So even after this, it's not like, oh, well, they'll just pick up the next tribute, get a curse, and catch up. It's going to be hard. They're going to be behind in experience for quite a bit of this game. So luckily right now, realizing that, they're going to make sure that they get the soaks from all the lanes.
You want to talk about confident play, Bleedies? Lunara went for Leaping Strike.
Leaping Strike. Wow.
And that might be really rough for Lunara. They might live to regret that. I'll talk about that why in a second. But all 5 members of Sycom eSports applying pressure in the middle lane. These 2 towers should go down without much interruption. Brightwing showing up here to help the team out. This is a 4v5. Handlebars out front as Warsaw. Starfall looking for value. Doing a good amount of damage to Handlebars, who hangs out on the perimeter and taking 3 damage for that. Not sure if that's ideal. The Starfall does go down, and that's a good amount of value out of that curse.
Yeah, definitely. That was a lot of value there. I was actually surprised that Toronto picked up Starfall here because that's quite a bit differently, especially with the solo heal. That's kind of competence, like you were just talking about. So a little bit different for sure.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point. I didn't think about that. They went for Starfall even with solo Tyrande. But one thing that I'm concerned about for Lunara, she Leaping Strikes in, gets polymorphed and gets her face ripped off. Like, that could happen.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. I totally agree with you there. And it's still, the experience is relatively, it could be a lot worse here with how much structures that we saw that they took with that bottom fort and taking that wall as well. But still doing a really good job of keeping this close, soaking everything, and they actually look like they might start this boss up here, maybe? Or was that just an accidental aggro?
I think it was a little cheekiness, and they have haunting memories of why that Bruiser camp was painted blue for the past few minutes, and I think they thought better of that. The Owl did go up there to try to sniff that out anyway, so that could have gotten ugly. Shout out to Jay, thanks for the comment. I try to be an oral painter, my friend.
Yeah, I always love Halloran's thing. What he says is always so great here. That's why I'm entertaining the cast with him for sure. And I just try to back him up by yelling a lot of things in really fast order. As we see Handlebars here rotating, maybe trying to get a pick on Ayuda here, but Lunar is a slippery hero. You don't exactly get that unless you have a lot more follow-up.
Diamond might be looking at some PSD here. Saw the Owl streak across, did spot him, but Sycom eSports is not going to be in position, so he does come away with the camp, but he does eat an Owl in the face. 2 members, Prince and Fate, hanging out here in the bush. Rebels nearby as well. Looks like they're rotating top. 2 towers still up here. King of Skills hanging out, but I hear the Jaws music playing. He's going to want to be concerned about moving up, because here it is. The root does miss the bleedies.
Oh, yeah, it does, and they're trying to engage on him here. He's trying to juke as well as he possibly can, but it's not going to matter. He just, as they call it, made space and does indeed go down.
Yeah. The root missed, but it did force King of Skills to move forward. He tried to move back, and then Rebel and Fate just stepped up, and Prince was there as well. And then King of Skills was like, excuse me, I'm trying to, excuse me. And they were like, nah.
Yeah, Sycom they're just playing really well right now, man. They've won all these team fights and these engagements, all these picks going off. Snipe Squad they need to do something. They need to get some sort of a pick here in one of these fights. They're not going to do it a talent tier down, as we do see Diamond get rooted there, but he's going to be able to get away, and Brightwing's going to pour on him, and they're going to have to give up this tribute. I don't even think they should poke it, because they're just, well, they might be on the same talent tier. We'll have to see exactly what they decide. As Handlebars, if he's aggressive here, goes on Prince. Could this be a mistake, though?
It very well could be, because they were fine. That was a big gamble. They do show up all here now. They are level 13. Ancestral Healing lands on the Prince. Diamond does a ton of damage. Invulnerability for Tassadar, keeping him alive, but Brightwing absolutely explodes. Diamond trying to get out of here. Enjoy has next to no health. Low on mana as well. And that's going to be another takedown. Illidan goes down. Everybody else looks like they're going to get away. And in my opinion, that was a pretty big misplay for Snipe Squad.
Yeah, I just figured he was way too aggressive. This wasn't a cursed tribute. As a matter of fact, it was just the first tribute. They should have been satisfied saying, you know what, we're not in position to defend this. It's okay, we can go soak a lane, we can contest it. But now they're going to give up this, and not only that, they're going to give up this boss as well, because there's no way they can contest it.
Yeah, in the mid-game, mistakes like that can really cost you and snowball into the late game. What was really rough about that engagement is that they weren't, not only were all of them not there, but they just hit level 13. So at best, the rest of the members of Snipe Squad would have showed up while Handlebars was already getting chunked down. Like, he would have been at most half health, and then they would have gone into that with a disadvantage anyway. So it was just an uphill battle that really did not pay for them. This boss is going to pump himself to his top four. Enjoy conclusion. Much skill I think this is going to go down. Or maybe not. They might be able to save this.
Now, they're bursting it down quite fast. It's going to actually, I think, stay with maybe like a fourth of its HP, especially when the shield goes down. Yeah, it's going to do that, but they're going to be able to get the bottom boss as well, and that top one is just going to be for the taking, eventually.
Yeah, when you're able to take double boss, it is a small victory for Snipe Squad to save that fort, but it's so low on health that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion anyway. And this is going to be absolutely rough for Snipe Squad. The tribute's up in the top lane. Of course, Sycom only has one tribute so far, so this isn't going to be a cursed tribute. But do they opt to let this boss get up to their keep wall? Or do they go for the tribute? And it looks like all the members of Sycom eSports are ready to rock down here with this boss.
Yeah, they weren't in a position to get that, so they just give that up. They made sure they get the most out of this. Brightwing, of course, she can port right down here as she does, and so it doesn't really matter too much as the boss is pushing. And we're going to see if they can get a keep here, and they might try to engage on this Lorne as we do have the Starfall being dropped here. Handlebar's absolutely getting bursted here, even though he's on Murd, and he's going to have to back up on the front line here. They are on this keep. They're bursting it down. The Gust is going out here. Canadian Playa and Rebel here are a little bit out of position, but no, they don't capitalize on it at all. It looks like this keep is just going to go in a matter of time, and the retreat's going down. The only question is going to see, is Snipe Squad going to engage on this? And the Ancestral goes out and saves CDN, so I don't even think they can.
They have to back up. If that keeps going down, it's going to give Sycom eSports their 16 talents. The boss does go down, and what we're seeing again is so much value out of Starfall. It went down somewhat preemptively, but it was perfectly timed because Snipe Squad was not able to move forward. They weren't able to try to counter-engage. Handlebars tried to step forward, and he was getting shredded by Starfall. Nicely done by Sycom eSports.
Yeah, Starfall is such a strong ability right now. And like if people say, you know, it's not even for picking up kills. I've seen in quick matches in Hero League, some so frustrating when they're like, oh, I got to drop it when everybody's low. No, you just drop it and you say, this is a no-go zone. You can't do that. And anybody who's caught in it, out of this, that's in the zone is going to go down. And we've seen some great Tronda play here, and it's been done in 2 games now.
Yeah, I'm looking at talents here really quick as the next tribute comes up. One thing I'd point out is Thrall went for Giant Killer Tempest Fury, which is definitely going to be a point of concern for Murray. High health heroes like that can get absolutely blown up by Tempest Fury being able to proc the Giant Killer 3 extra times. Something to be concerned about.
Yeah, you're completely correct there. And now they're just going on this. They have to. They don't necessarily have to win this here, but they are still going to engage in this team fight. And you see Diamond actually get completely bursted down, but he does pop his ultimate to escape here. But the Starfall is being dropped here, zoning so hard. Muradin is going to go down. And yep, sorry, they're just going to have to back up. They cannot fight without their front line. That's going to be another victory for Sycom.
Yeah, and that's going to be 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad when you're in a situation like this. To Snipe Squad's credit, they're still only a level down to be short a keep, and to have lost the team fight that they have, this middle fort is pretty much for free at this point. The siege camp is moving right along to this top fort as well, so that could be for free also. And once this next tribute comes up, if Sycom eSports is able to pick that up, that might be a win condition for them.
Yeah, most definitely. You're completely correct about that. I mean, they already have. Sycom has that bottom lane. If they win a team fight here, they can just push the bottom lane in the game. As I say that, Diamond's actually taking a lot of damage. He tries to get away here. The Blink Hill going out here, but he just survives by 2 hits. And actually, Iuta goes in for the kill on Illidan with the aggressive jump. What
YOLO!
a play.
Full YOLO by Iuta.
Wow.
In there. Doesn't hit in the kill on Illidan, but Nara pays for it themselves. So that was a cheeky play that looked good in the earlier stages of it, but the escape was the real trick there. Didn't work out for him. 1-for-1 trade, and that pretty much stopped the advance of Sycom. And that's something of a sigh of relief for Snipe Squad.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That was absolutely amazing right there. I mean, they ended up losing somebody for that, but just if you're looking at that, that was so fancy, and I loved every moment of that.
So one thing I'd looking at the talents here, so Arthas did go for Remorse this year, and that's the talent that these people, after they've been in for a little while, with cooldown reduction, that's serious. Big engagement here in the middle lane again. Luna Flare goes down. Hunter's Mark getting used. Handlebars is going to be okay for now, so he might look to try to jump into this. An aggressive fly from Castle Bravo.
He misses everyone.
He doesn't get anyone, but Prince is here by himself, sort of. Polymorph. Rebel comes down here to heal him up. Illidan jumping around on Fate, not the best target, all things considered, for Illidan, because he jumps in and gets himself double rooted, stunned as well, and this fight is not going the way it's.
Yeah, no, and it looks like we're finally getting some good stuff. King of Skills is taking a ton of damage here. Lunar using her jump here to kill him there. Diamond actually taking a strong amount of damage here, but he does have the shield here. Will he be able to get a kill out of this? No, he's actually going to go down. That fight was so split there because they really wanted to commit to get this tribute so they don't lose the game, but it might not matter anymore because they could just push the core potentially, but I don't know. I think Sycom might do the smart thing here and just take boss, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to throw here. 25 seconds before Brightwing comes up, 30 before Illidan. If they did run for the core now, they'd have to go all the way down to the bottom lane, and that would give Snipe Squad time to be alive again, and they would be on even talent. So I really think that this boss call is smart. Snipe Squad is not going to be able to get there in time to contest this, or they would at their own peril, staggered out. So this boss is pretty much going to be for free. And the tribute shows up here. So bottom lane, it's going to be in the bottom left corner. So if Sycom eSports comes away with this boss bleedy, or with this tribute bleedies, they could just take the boss, and that would for sure be the end of the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So it leads to the fact that they're going to have to go defend this boss, because if this boss pushes bottom, as long as, they don't completely die before the boss gets the core, it's going to be easy win, like you just said. So they have such a hard decision here on what to do. What do you think that they need to do here?
There is no good decision for them. They can't let this boss push for free in the top lane, because if they lose the tribute, it's going to be cursed, and that's a definite key that's going down. The boss is up in the bottom left corner. So the Sycom eSports picks up the curse, picks up the boss. They do save the top keep, but actually didn't lose any damage at all. But look how far this lane is already pushed up in the top lane. The doors already get knocked on in the middle lane. So this is a huge fight in this bottom lane as Sycom eSports picks up their Storm talents. And Snipe's going to have to play this perfectly to stay alive.
Yeah, they're doing this aggressively because they need to, but Handlebars, gosh, taking so much damage there. He has to pop Avatar here, and we're seeing Diamond being really aggressive here, getting to this backline here, but it's not going to matter here. The Gust goes out absolutely to save Murd in here, and we're just seeing that what a well-placed Metamorphosis here, getting a lot of health here, but Castle Bravo's actually getting low 2 Kingdom skills as well. This team fight is being so split here that Brightwing cannot heal up all these heroes, and they're having to back out on Snipe Squad, even though they didn't lose anybody. Their health bars are completely gone, and that boss is on their core.
Yeah, they've been absolutely chunked down. Iuta, listening to crisscross, jump, Daddy Mac will make it as he was leaping all over Castle Bravo. Murden, Illidan absolutely explode. Shield's gone. This is going to be...
Yeah, GG. This is going to be a win. It's going to be a 2-0 in favor of Sycom here. Doing an amazing gameplay. I mean, I've watched Snipe Squad. They're really good. But Sycom just brought it to another level tonight.
Snipe Squad won Season 1 of Chair League. They are no slouches. I've seen these guys. I've watched these guys stream all the time. Very talented and skilled players. But again, I would go back to the tournament that I was fortunate enough to cast this past Sunday. Sycom eSports probably has something of a chip on their shoulder. They want to show up here. They want to show up strong. They want to bounce back. They just lost the finals 2 days ago. So I'm sure they were pumped up. They're really looking to prove themselves. And they are a team to watch for.
Yeah, most definitely. That was excellent showing for them. Every time I watched Sycom growing up, they used to be kind of just winning in an occasional tournament, but they just keep getting better and better. It's arguably to see when they're going to be able to take out RFS on the amateur / that little amateur professional level gap that there is, if they can ever do that. But if they play anything like they do tonight against those teams and just go as a team and draft these really good comps. I really like, even more than their drafting for themselves, their denials that they did twice in a row. They were like, all right, this is what they would want to pick. We're going to pick it. They picked Rhaegar up. And then they also did denial there for the Illidan comp. So I think they're just doing an amazing job in drafting and also team fighting.
Yeah. Inimical here says that Sycom won the draft pretty hard, and they made a strong case for that was made. Before the set started, we were talking about a concern that the Tyrande meta might be back. And seeing these two games, with stuns being lowered across the board, but Hunter's Mark not getting changed at all, that just increases the value of that ability from level 1 so much that it just looks overwhelming. Starfall and Hunter's Mark on your front line melts your face. We've seen it 2 times in a row right now. All kinds of value on that front. It's the other big element out of that, I would say, was the build that Arthas had. Illidan jumped in, found himself rooted to death. Meriden jumped in, found himself rooted to death. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, definitely. They use Arthas effectively there. And like you said, I think when we're seeing these double frontline comps trying to come out here, especially in that game number 1, I think it proved that if you're going to try to go that and that that's your draft plan or like what your team wants to do on a certain map, you have to think about banning Tyrande because she just did an amazing job. I think you're just right on with your analysis of that matchup. And I can't say it enough, even though Sycom did win that in a 2-0, those are some really entertaining games as I'd always expect from the Pro Division. And congrats to both of them for being in the Pro Division and always entertaining all the people in here, which thank you, Twitch chat, for tuning in.
Yeah. Another thing I would think about as far as that draft, Brightwing struggles against Tyrande. The Hunter's Mark, again, just makes it very hard for that passive healing to keep someone alive. And Illidan's sustained damage can be very impactful, but I just did not see an instance where Snipe Squad was able to successfully hard engage. Every time they went all in, they were all getting rooted and Starfall was dropping on them.
Completely correct, man. Yeah.
Brutal. Brutal
Oh
stuff,
man.
man.
But
This
good games
actually
to
makes
go.
me. I'm excited to do our show again because games like this is exactly the kind of stuff that I love to talk about. Because this new meta, you have to start considering banning Tyrande first wave. You have to.
Yeah, I think so. And look, that's exactly what Imicable GG. Sorry if I said it wrong. Imicable GG, which I totally said wrong. And Tychus and Tyrande absolutely melt front lines. And even though Tyrande is S tier now, she doesn't see priority in bans except in China, Korea. And we've seen China, Korea be ahead in North America since the last tournament. So maybe we just have to, as a North America, start adapting to that and saying, you know what? Tyrande changes the game too much. You just got to ban her.
She does because the extra stun durations that other people had across the board made Tyrande into a liability sometimes because you can just stun lock her. She has no base escape, perhaps sprint, but that gave you more of a window to just blow her up. But Starfall, its duration to getting shortened, it didn't lose any damage, so Starfall and Hunter's Mark, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think that was all I had for tonight in terms of casting. Two very fun games, best of 3 series, going the way of Sycom eSports. Congratulations to you guys. Glad to see you guys in top form coming off of the next verse tournament. Snipe Squad, always a strong team. Always excited to see you guys play. Not going to be able to win them all, unfortunately. But I have every confidence that they're going to bounce back as well and be very strong contenders for the rest of Chair League Season 2.
Most definitely, guys. And thank you for tuning in. And also for those who also saw our show that we were doing, if you guys didn't see that, I encourage you. We're going to be doing this. It looks like weekly so far until we get some more suggestions, maybe if we need to change it up. But follow Haloran on Twitter. I'm advertising for you now, buddy. If you do that, he'll be letting you know when those shows are going to be happening, what we're going to be talking about. And for now, until we create a Twitter for the actual event, you guys can just send him suggestions of what you want to see on a show, what's not out there, and we'll make sure to do that.
Yeah, to give a recap on what we're talking about, if you're just joining in now. The story is, I sent a tweet out earlier saying that the big patch today made me really want to be like on a talk show to talk about the changes because I think there's a lot of in-depth and very fun discussions to be had out of it. And Spirian, the community manager for Blizzard, actually responded to my tweet and said, well, there's always room for another podcast. You should consider making one. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then Bleedy said, oh yeah, I was already planning to talk to you about starting a show. So that got the gears, turning in my mind to think about what kind of show I think would have a place with the other ones that are around. And the idea that me and Bleedy's landed on was a show that specifically talks about the current meta in at least the NA scene. Global is always part of the discussion as well. But the idea is we create something of a community tier list where, we create an initial tier list and then we see games like this week in and week out that really inspire a difference or shifts in opinions. People reach out to this Twitter account that we're going to make to say like, hey, I've seen this. This build's doing a lot of work. These things are starting to fall off. These things are starting to get prioritized more in Hero League. And then we pick out the the general consensus and make those into talking points for the show. People show up. They throw their ideas and comments into the chat as we're discussing this stuff. And then we read out the comments and just kind of, create a community tier list and hero discussion.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. So I hope to see you guys whenever we do that show. But as for now, I think we're about to wrap this up. Where can they find you if they want to learn more information for you, buddy?
If you haven't hit the follow yet, I really appreciate it if you do now on here, twitch.tv/Haloran. I'm also on the Twitter @_Haloran. And Bleedy's, where can they find you?
Yeah, man. If you liked my casting tonight and you want to see me more, hopefully I'll do some more partnership with Haloran. Go to my channel, which is just Bleedies, twitch.tv/Bleedies. Give me a follow, or also on Twitter, you can follow me, also at Bleedies. I appreciate all the good feedback from you guys, and hope to do some more entertaining stuff for you.
Yeah. But for now, it's going to be us signing off here. Thanks for watching the show if you're around for that. Definitely thanks to the teams for putting on a very fun show, very entertaining stuff to cast, and thank you for sticking around for that as well. For now, that's going to be it.
See ya.
Have a good night, guys.